Analysts at Meristem Securities say they expect a generally bullish outlook for the Nigerian stock market, but they say the positive bias in the market may continue with occasional volatility as the market braces up for the release of the rebased GDP, CPI numbers, as well as the first Monetary Policy Committee meeting scheduled for next week. Victory George, Senior Investment Research Analyst at Meristem Securities, joins me for this discussion. Victory, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Esther.
Talk us through highlights for trading this week very briefly. What were the key highlights? We know markets still digesting earnings and the much awaited GDP and CPI numbers still yet to come into the market. But talk to us about how investors feel about trading this week.
Well, this week investors have largely been in an upbeat mood. We've been seeing appreciation bias across some tickers, particularly financial services. We also saw some appreciation on some industrial goods players, Dangote Cement as well. So investors largely, like you mentioned, reacting to the earnings releases and also taking positions ahead of dividend payments. So we've seen that positive sentiment in the market this week.
And with this Dangote Sugar announcement, this news from the Dangote Sugar, how do you, as the market, reacted to that? And what does that mean for investors?
Well, investors are still digesting this update. Like we've mentioned before at the start of the year, that a lot of companies, especially players in the rural sector, would be undergoing a lot of restructuring to their operations, driving value creation, and investors, would largely be looking out for some of these outcomes and taking investment decisions based on that.
Right. And so for next week, couple of data that investors will be looking forward to. Hopefully, the GDP, CPI, and of course the Monetary Policy Committee are meeting first for the year. I believe that's on the 19th and 20th of next week. We've seen the Naira appreciate, or at least hold, steady at the official FX market at 1,500 plus. Talk to us about. You put out a report on FX stability. You've talked about healthy remittances coming in this year and inflows. Talk to us about how investors feel about where the currency is right now and your expectations from the meeting next week.
Well, yeah, like you said, we've seen since the last MPC meeting, we've seen a healthy foreign inflow, and also some of the measures that the CBN has been taking in the FX market to create that transparency. We saw the introduction of the FM's BMAX system, and also extending the move to supply, FX to the bureau de change operators, till May, and all that, just basically creating that confidence in investors, and also the OMO auction we saw earlier, also spurred, that investors' confidence, and also the supply of FX in the market. So largely the FX has remained stable, around 1415 levels at the offshore market, and the parallel market around 16 levels. So these are some of the things that the Monetary Policy Committee will be considering, some of the parameters they'll be looking at the meeting next week.
But are you expecting specific comments around inflation? Because I know in your report also stated that you will see a drop in food inflation, and I know that's been the tricky part. For the MPC, the food inflation, because it's largely not under the control of the MPC. Yes.
So for the inflation, it's going to be a very key determinant. Seeing that the meeting was even postponed, as well with the CPI, the CPI, it'll be coming out on the 17th. So with the rebasing, we're largely, on the lookout for that and how that is going to shape policy direction going forward. But we expect, with the stable effects that we've seen, since the last meeting, and also improved supply of some, food items, maize and soya beans as well, and also the fuel prices, PMS prices, that have been relatively stable. Yeah. As well. So we expect that to play into the figures that we'll be seeing. We expect a slight drop in the inflation figures.
Right.
But we still await the CPI, with the rebasing and
right.
the change of
I know it's the
methodology.
first meeting for the year, but a lot has happened in the last in Q. A lot happened in Q4. We've seen, like you said, stability in the currency market and all of that. Do you think that it will be too early for this MPC to make any pronouncements, or we're going to hear them say, look, it's the first meeting of the year, let's wait, and see, how the reforms continue to take shape?
Yeah, so the MPC, like I mentioned, would be considering these parameters, and against this backdrop, the decision would span between, do we still hike the policy rates again, or do we opt for a hold? But I guess that decision would be based on on the expectations for these parameters going forward.
But what are you expecting, Meristem? Are you expecting them to hold or to hike? What is your forecast?
In-house at Meristem, considering these factors, we're largely expecting them to remain hawkish. We're looking at around another 25 basis points hike.
All right, we'll leave it at Victory. Thank you for talking to us today. Appreciate your time on the show. Victory George, Senior Investment Research Analyst at Meristem Securities.